Today I will show you how I made my track The Void, which sounds something like this. I will show you the whole process of creating the track, sound design, and the signing and releasing process. The idea behind The Void actually came about when I returned from the beautiful highland of Madeira, and when I came back I was super inspired, so I wrote this kind of mysterious harp, which for me kind of resembles the vibe I felt in the Final Forest. And then I just kind of continued to build this kind of loop, and I slapped on a Reese. These vocals which really hit the spot for me. Also this Netflix documentary type piano. And then some ambiences to just kind of fill it out. Remember, adding ambiences in your breaks is like a cheat code to fill up empty space. More on that in a later video. I also found this like random dark vocal. On this one I didn't do too much, I just added a soothe, some delay, some reverb to fill it up. But on the second one, this one is the more interesting one.
Stay focused.
So without any processing it sounds like this.
Stay focused.
I just wanted to amplify the kind of dark vibe which is going on. So what I did, I pulled up the snap heap, which allows you to do like parallel processing. So on the first bus, I just basically made the whole vocal very wide. Second bus is for some reason empty. And on the third parallel bus, I pitched the vocal up 7 semitones. So it's playing like a fifth basically. And then we have a serial bus where the magic happens basically. So I have a ring mod, which is doing that kind of gnarly sound.
Stay focused. Stay focused.
And it's on a very, very low frequency, so that's giving you that movement. Then I have a frequency shifter and a phaser.
Stay focused.
Which just kind of gives you like the filtered kind of feel. And remember, this is not the final project, this is basically just a project where the idea happened and I put it together in a different one. So this is the loop I had initially.
Concentrate. Stay focused. Concentrate.
So I didn't know what to do with it. I wanted to do a drum and bass track. So yeah, I kind of went through like my old sound design projects I had, and I found this pretty cool bass which I made for Secret and Sig Essentials 3. So the first thing I did, I was like, yeah, let's make a pattern. I made this pattern because I had it stuck in my head for a while. So this is a pretty cool bass I made, and yeah, without any processing it sounds like this. How the hell did I end up with the final sound? Let me show you. So the patch itself, we have 2 signs. One is a fifth, 1 octave above. The other one is taking the FM from oscillator B, and it's being modulated by LFO1 basically, the level and the FM mount, and no other effects. I did all the effects outside Serum. So first we have 1 distortion. Then we have a notch filter, which kind of filters out the highs, and a camel crusher with the British Clean preset. Then we go to the multipass, which has funky crunchy preset on it. It still doesn't sound right, so I just added another distortion, because why not? Now it's getting fat. Then a wave shaper to boost the harmonics even more. Then we have an EQ, where I just kind of got rid of the mid frequencies. Then we have another EQ. As you can see, it's doing some movement. So we actually have an automation for that. And you're gonna hear it more when we're gonna get more processing on top of the sound. Then we have a tantrum, some more distortion. This is already giving a lot of texture. Then we have a filter. As you can see, there's the automation for that. This was just only used to shape the sound, basically. Another EQ just to kind of boost more mids and some lows. And we're not done at all. Then we have a distortion. Starting to get fat. Then we have a bandpass filter, which is being automated as well. And this is giving a lot of like the movement. Next, we have a Serum effects. Now this one is doing a lot. As you can see, we have the LFO1 modulating the frequency of these notches on the EQ. To do that, you just have to enable note latch, and it's gonna kind of follow the rate you have set here, and it's gonna start playing whenever. Then we have an OTT. just to kind of get back more of the sound, more EQing to get more highs. Then I added a vocoder, which kind of makes it very thick. Of course, Camel Crusher with the British Clean preset. And a shaper box, which is adding a bit of noise on top of the sound. And this is almost it. We also have on a very short delay time to just give it a bit width. And the room reverb to give it some space. And then I just basically cut off the lows, boosted a bit of highs, and we're done. All the other plugins are just used for like automation and stuff like that. Keep in mind, this sound was made in a sound designing session where I was experimenting a lot, and the sound could be made with a lot less steps, much simpler. But this is how I did it. Yeah, sometimes it goes like this, where I overdo things, but it worked. To finish up the sound, I added this sub. I ended up with this section, and then I placed some kind of basic drums. I'm not gonna go deep on these because I changed it actually in the next project, but yeah, just for reference. So yeah, this is how the entire section sounds now. As you can see, in between the bass pattern, we have some filler basses. I added some recess, for example, this one. This one is from Teddy Killers, and I also made a res of my own, which is included in our Eclipse pack. And yeah, the sound is pretty basic, nothing too crazy here. I just kind of automated the sync of the oscillator A to make that kind of screamy effect, just to give it a bit more movement. Then when we listen to the next 4 bars, we have something new here, so we can check some automations I did. So I added the serum effect with a comb filter, and what I'm doing actually, I'm just automating the cutoff of it, which kind of makes it more metallic. It just felt very repetitive to have the same sound over again. I just wanted to make something different. And at the end of this section, we have this fun kind of tom fill, which is actually pretty basic patch, so without any processing. It's just a saw wave with a fundamental sub and some filtering, just a bit of drive, also adding a bit of lows, and some OTT. Then when we look at the processing itself, I'm just boosting a bit of highs here, a disperser to make it thick, and this Game Changer plugin, which is called Rift, and I just use the clip noise preset. It just adds that kind of nice gritty noise and distorts it a bit more. Then an EQ to just boost a bit more of the lows, since we lost them a bit in the Rift. Camel Crusher, British Clean preset, as you can see, my go-to. Pretty easy sound. And we have the next section, the sound changes just a bit. So we have modified version of the first patch where we don't have the oscillator B to -1 octave, but we have it at +1 octave. So we get different harmonics. It's going through the same processing as the first bass. It just sounds a bit different. Then when we look at the next 16 bars, we have just a little change. So basically the same bass, but different shapes of the filters. I'm just opening it for a bit longer than previously, as you can see. So yeah, just a little switch up to keep it moving. Then we have a little foghorn here. It's actually a preset from Evo Sounds from Zen World, and without the processing, it sounds like this. Still pretty dope, but I added Rift, the Clip Juicy preset. That's fat. Then we have the work bass, which actually I was just stumbling across it randomly with this random selection button. And it sounded pretty cool. So I kind of, continue to process it, boost the lows a bit, and decrease some low mids. And to get a bit of movement, I added this notch filter. And yeah, that's basically the sound. So when I had the drop and the break, I needed to somehow connect them. So yeah, I made a simplified version of the break, which is break idea which I showed you. The break idea actually turned out to be the second break. So this is the first break.
Concentrate. Concentrate.
That Netflix piano sound is more noticeable here. Yeah, it's basically just a simplified version of the second break. Most of the stuff is the same, and I just added this kind of atmospheric pad. which brought a lot of like the dark vibe I wanted to have. I have the vocals, some pads that I had also in the second break. Also have this percussion loop, which has been pitched down just for some texture. And to connect everything, I just added the drop bass also in the break, but it's more filtered, a lot of reverb, and it's much less loud.
Concentrate.
Then it continues on to the second 16 bars.
Concentrate. Concentrate. Concentrate.
But it's slowly kind of rising. We have this huge track. From Noisia. Can't go wrong with Noisia sounds in your production, right? Just some random like stabs. To just kind of continue on building everything up. Then we continue on to the main build-up section. As you can see, I just added some risers. This weird long riser. And of course these kicks. And also the snare. This section kind of changed in the next project I'm gonna show you in 1 second. Let's see the pre-drop. In the pre-drop, I actually wanted to imitate the concentrate vocal with the synth itself. This is done with the notches, which I actually modulate with LFO1 in the Serum effects. And these notches kind of give the same timbre to the sound as the concentrate vocal.
Concentrate.
So yeah, this is it together.
Concentrate.
So let's move on to the second break. This is basically the same idea as the initial one. I just added some chorus and the drums from the first break. I wanted to create this kind of like dissonant vibe here going into the build-up. And yeah, I used Omnisphere for the chorus. I like to use these kind of patches. Let's check the second drop. So here we have a 4 to the floor drop, which I at that time really liked, and it works pretty good live as well. There's not a lot of change in terms of the sound of the bass. This is the same as in this part. But yeah, we changed the drums, of course. Added this rumble from Imanu. Then after the first 4 bars, I added a clap. And then later some cymbals. So yeah, that's basically it for this part. Yeah, I wasn't that creative here, to be honest. Then we continue on to another build-up. And we go to a third drop, which hasn't been used in the final one. I actually didn't use this drop, but I kind of chopped up the synths we have here. And yeah, I'm gonna show you that in the next project. So this is the second project. I kind of revamped the whole structure here. So let me kind of give you a quick walkthrough what changed here. The first drop is still the same. Then it continues on to a build-up and to the 4 to the floor section. Reason behind this, actually it works better live, and also my good friend Tyan recommended me this, thank you so much. And then, as I said, the third drop got scrapped, but I did kind of do something with it, so I did this kind of plucky drop as the third one. So it's not the same all the time, so we switched the rhythm a bit here. Yeah, so let's see what changed here. The drums did change. I changed up the snare for this one. This one is from our Taurus pack, and I actually layered it with another snare, which has more of metallic sound, which I think hits much harder than the previous one. I left the kick as it is, basically, and I also replaced the reeds here with the screechy bass. So it's a layer of 3 sounds. The main one is from the Bass Trooper pack from Culture. Amazing one, check it out. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of make it more modern, I would say. And actually between the first project and the second project, there's a year difference. I learned a lot of new techniques in drum and bass, which I could apply here. Yeah, helped me a lot to kind of wait a bit and be patient with my skills in drum and bass, as actually this is the first drum and bass track I ever released. So in the next section we have new hats and some effects. And also this little fill. And also this nice foghorn, which is from our Taurus pack. And I think it fits very nicely. And the 4 to the floor section didn't change much except for the new rides. And for the breaks, nothing really changed here. Just as the build-up progresses, I kind of added some snares. And I also changed the main build-up as well a bit. Instead of having kicks like this, I added just 4 to the floor in this section. And the same thing applies here for the second build-up as well. And in the third drop, there is more changes, of course. So I kind of chopped up the bass we had. And I added this like delay, which is a delay with a lot of feedback, a very short one, and I'm basically just automating the mix and the spread so it gets wider as time progresses, just to kind of fill it up a bit. And then just some like subs in between the notes. It's just to fill it up essentially. And finally we have a totally new section. I wanted to finish the song off with like an orchestral section, so yeah, this is it. Essentially we have a lot of violins. A synth, top reese, this moving reese, and of course the main reese that plays. Which is a very basic patch, just 2 detonant saw waves, where I put the width a bit down, distorted it heavy, filtered it, to get rid of those mid frequencies. I did change the drums as well though. So we have a new kick, a bit of a softer one. Then we have this percussion loop. We have some new snares, together with the metallic snare as well. And the main orchestral section. So essentially these are multiple instances of contact. I cannot load this, I had to disable it because my PC almost exploded. My CPU couldn't handle that, but essentially we have violins playing the same notes, sliding into each other, and they're basically panned left and right. Then we have a main section of horns. So altogether, I think it's a very nice ending to the track. And yeah, also I did this cool thing here on the end of the track. Let's just listen to the snares individually. So what I did here, I have a delay. So I'm basically automating the level of the feedback. At the same time, I'm automating the time, which makes it pitch up and down very weirdly. Also, I did add a pan man, which pans left and right very quickly here, just to give you more of a stereo image. So after making all these changes, I was kind of happy with the track already. So I sent it out to labels, very excited, and yeah, they declined. So I was like, shoot, I really wanted to release the track, so I decided to self-release. It was my first time in a long time. So yeah, I just made the artwork and visuals myself, distributed it through Lender, and yeah, here we are, finally released. It released last month. So go stream it if you like this one. And yeah, so don't be afraid to self-release, I would say. Just kind of go out there, even if the labels don't like the track. If you like it, go ahead, release it, and don't be afraid to get your music out and have full control of it. So if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash the like button, comment down below any of your questions you have regarding this track, and subscribe if you feel like it. It helps me a lot to put up more content and, you know, just to feel motivated. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Ciao.